topics where you have two different experts. You got expert A, PhD, all these letters after her name, saying one thing. Then you got expert B, and he also has a PhD, all these letters after his name, Harvard professor, saying the exact opposite thing. And it's just so interesting that dichotomy between on so many topics.
You know what the deal breaker is for that, Ben, is whoever paid more for their PhD is right.
Well,
I'm just
as you say that, if you're a Saturday Night Live fan, it reminds me of Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin. I can just see them.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Totally. Yeah, I always defer to the higher paid.
Exactly. Yeah, just check the receipts.
The Harvard person's always right. Yeah, no, but I find that fascinating. And one of the topics that I've looked at over the years, which I do feel firmly falls in that category, is the consumption of oils by people as food. So putting oil on your salad, or cooking, sauteing vegetables with oil. Is oil good for you, or is it not? Because some people will say it's the most amazing health food. Drinking it whole, like take shots of oil. It's so good for you.
Okay, now that I'm not on board with, but
right.
However, I mean, the Mediterranean diet, that's the basis almost of all the entire Mediterranean diet, right? It's olive oil, right? I mean, that's
tons of olive oil, exactly.
And Popeye's life, all of it's based around olive oil. So,
it's based around olive, exactly. I agree, and so that's interesting. But then you have this other school of thought where individuals are saying no oils are good for you, and here are the reasons why. And then you have the people in the middle who are like, well, some of the oils are good depending on how they're processed, like all that kind of stuff. So I've been kind of sifting through that for the last 3 or 4 years. And
I'm glad because
I'm coming to my own opinions, but I'm glad that you're glad that I
yes, well, I didn't want you to waste 3 years of your life, Ben. I was worried.
Well, you gotta come to the truth on some of these things.
I'm here for you. I mean, I have actually replaced a lot of my butter usage with olive oil. So if I'm making eggs in the morning, I use olive oil in the pan instead. And actually, I prefer the flavor. So I mean, so I do that. But am I doing anything beneficial, or am I just fast tracking myself to the Ernest C. funeral home up there on the hill? What am I doing here? Ben, help me out.
So,
help out, Ben.
Here's where I've kind of fallen out on it with oils. I think of that as oils are a processed food, right? So it's the same kind of thought process as there's many people that will say that red wine is good for you when in fact it's not. All alcohol is a poison, unfortunately. And so when you squeeze a grape and you take all the essence out, or you take an orange, you squeeze all the juice out and you just take the juice, I would put oils kind of in that category. We're taking an olive, we're squeezing out the juice, right? And then we're consuming the juice. So it puts it in the processed category immediately and removes some of the good parts of the plant that they created the oil with. Then number two, one thing that most people don't realize is that oils are by size, they are one of the highest calorie items you can consume. They have, by density, they have higher calories than M&Ms. They have higher calories than butter. They have higher calories than any type of meat product you might eat. Or all the weird cereals that Jack brings up from time to time on your show. So you're intaking the oh my god, higher calories than that gigantic Kit Kat thing that you have there.
So that's healthy. That's healthier than a big tub of olive oil.
Right. But that's just something to be aware of. You are taking in one of the highest calorie density foods on earth.
And yet I'm hearing that. I remember reading that like the oil, like olive oil, is like one of the good fats, like one of the good fats that you want to have in your body.
So if you get past the whole part about it being super high calories, which calories still do matter, no matter what the ketogenic people tell you, like calories do matter, like it's still something that the body has to process. If you get past that, that doesn't inherently make oils bad. But then you have to look at how the oil was processed. So if the oil was processed with high heat, which many of the seed oils are, like canola, corn, cottonseed oil, safflower, sunflower oil, many of those oils are processed with high heat. That damages the fats in the oil, which actually make them toxic for us as human beings. So if you're going to have oil, you want to have your virgin olive oil or your expeller pressed or your cold processed oils, because otherwise you are 100% taking damage your body.
So when you have an option, go with the virgin, you said.
Yep. Go with the virgin olive oil. and like or cold
Down,
press
Daddy
avocado.
Claus.
Yes. So, and then you got to look at the fact that then if you were going to use that oil for cooking with it, like oils have different heat points. So
Yeah.
olive oil has a pretty low heat point where it will start to
Well, it
degrade
starts to
and
just
burn off,
it dissipates. Yeah.
dissipates. So it's really not a great oil for sautéing. So the way I have kind of fallen out on this is that oils are yummy, so they taste good. They make certain things go down better. So if you're going to eat a salad and you want a little bit of virgin olive oil with some balsamic vinegar, I'm not going to throw any stones, but use it sparingly. Don't put in a quarter cup of olive oil on your salad, because you're putting 1,000 calories on there, so it's just that kind of thought process. And or if you're going to saute, and that's really where I usually use oils, is if I'm gonna saute some broccoli or cauliflower or whatever it might be, Brussels sprouts, use the high heat temperature oils. So that would be avocado is a great one for that. If you can find a cold pressed avocado oil, or my new favorite is macadamia nut oil. And that one is one that a fellow gym owner turned me on to. He actually likes it so much he created a company where he imports it from New Zealand. And like, you guys, have you ever heard of macadamia nut oil before?
No.
No.
It's I hadn't either. And I'm like, well, and when he was like talking about it, the whole sell me on it. Why would I want to use macadamia nut oil? Because I don't like oil anyways. I think it's bad for you. And he's like, well, macadamia nut oil is amazing because first of all, it's cold processed. Second of all, it has a 525-degree heat burn point, so you can saute with it totally fine. It's not going to burn off on you. It has one of the highest omega fatty acid profiles out of the oil. And the best part is it has an amazing buttery taste. It tastes like you're using butter.
Okay.
Like, I don't really like avocado oil or olive oil. It doesn't really taste that great to me, but this one really does. It's like as if you just put a little stick of butter in your vegetables that were sauteed with butter, but it's much better for you.
So if I throw my my olive oil out the window and bring in avocado and or macadamia oil, I feel like I may have to get another job. That sounds like a very expensive option.
Yeah, where and how much, Ben?
You can get it on Amazon. You want to be careful of how it's processed. We sell it at the health club now.
Wow, big.
We got some bottles in there, and it's funny. People all thought it was Chardonnay, and I'm like, no, it's not Chardonnay. It's
Just guzzling it down in the hallways.
It's not Chardonnay. This is oil, and people have been beginning to kind of purchase it and buy it. And I've sent a couple emails about what it is, and I don't want to get too salesy with people. Usually, when I bring a product, it's only because I feel like it's something that they can utilize to get help. That's maybe hard to find other than at our store. The price is about like extra virgin olive oil, so it's like $20 hours.
Okay,
I can't remember exactly.
All right. But the taste is good too. You said.
Oh yeah, it is. It's funny. We've been doing. My wife and I love sauteing vegetables, so we put like our little spice and we throw on there. We saute a bunch of vegetables. It tastes. It's like you actually almost crave them. It's so good.
Really?
It's got that more that buttery, taste. Versus the vegetably taste of olive oil, avocado oil. And then one other thing I want to just throw out there. I've been in many arguments with some of my physician friends.
No.
Yeah, so you guys have heard the debate. Fish oil is an oil, right? You've heard the debate about like fish oil is good for you. It's going to help your heart not have a heart attack, or fish oil
brain good for your
brain. It's good for your joints. And it was interesting because I was really a fish oil component where I'm like, yeah, it does really good things for you. It's this, that, and then the research started to change where it was like, well, fish oil isn't good for you and it causes arrhythmias and it does this and that. And then,
oh no,
what's really interesting though, if you look at studies in how they process the fish oil, and this is something your viewers should be aware of as well, is that you want cold processed fish oil. You need to get that type of fish oil because it's the exact same thing. If they process it in high heat, which most of them do, they degrade all of the fats and they actually make it into an inflammatory liquid for you. So you do not want that. So you really have to look again. Was it cold pressed? Processed with low heat, so that it doesn't destroy it. And actually, fish oil has a very low burn point, so it can be denatured and destroyed pretty quickly or oxidized.
How would you know if it's cold processed or or does it say?
It will be firmly on the bottle because they're always proud of themselves. They've done that because it costs
Okay.
more, so they'll definitely put that on there, and then the other thing with any of the fish oils you want to look for is the fish oil. There's a way to process it similar where they can get all the out. It's just one of the water processes they do to the fish oil to get out all the heavy metals and things. That's another thing to look for.
Well, you're talking cold filtered like they do with Miller Genuine Draft.
Cold filter, exactly.
Yeah.
Changes the flavor of the beer. It's true. The mechanism by which they process things is very, very important. Sometimes you look at something, you think it doesn't work, but it's just that they use the Costco brand where they basically process it in the cheapest possible fashion, and now it's not really good for you. So just take a peek at your fish oil.
Okay.